Welcome to the Wealth and Business Podcast. On this episode, I am joined by a friend, a brother, a tech founder, all the way from the United States. He's from Nigeria, doing amazing things in the United States of America. He's done 8 figures business. He's grown a business from 0 to 8 figures, doing over £1 million. Sorry, over $1 million. I'm used to pounds. So over $1 million, a year. And this individual, we kind of connected. We didn't even know where, we were from the same city, from Edo State, Nigeria, where we were both born and raised. We share similar story. He's an immigrant like myself. He actually went to the US with less than $100 in his pocket. And today he's done amazing things. So most of you know my story. I basically started my journey in 2004 when I first came to the UK. I've done all the odd jobs. Once upon a time I was an Uber driver and now turned property mogul, property portfolio millionaire. So I'm so super excited to be welcoming the founder of Higher Place University in the US, the founder and CEO of Vonza.com. Listen, his accolade is massive, so I don't even know where to start from. So, Dr. Uyi Abraham, welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro. It's so good to be with you, Dr. Daniel Moses. You're an amazing man, fellow Edolites from Nigeria, and a great brother, great friend. And man, I'm just so proud of you and the awesome things you do. I follow you on social media, and you are such an inspiration to many of us. So glad to be on your show today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. So, when the name Nigeria used to be mentioned so many years ago, the first thing that we hear is, oh, there is 419, oh, these guys are not genuine, or corruption. We've been stigmatized quite a lot. Nobody's perfect, right? That's just the truth. Even the Bible itself recognizes, it says we're born of sin and we're sinners. The truth is that there's still a lot of people doing so well being Nigerians, and you're one of them right now. So you basically started your journey, many years ago, immigrated from Edo State all the way to America. And today you are a founder of a business doing 8 figures, in revenue. You founded your own university in the US, and not just only the university as well, you own a tech company called Vonza. And not just that, I think you've got so many things on your sleeves. So let's break it down one by one. Where do we start from? So first of all, how did you immigrate, with just less than $100 and many years later, you're a millionaire in the US. Let's start from that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I came to America with $100 and a suitcase of clothes a few years ago. So I came because I wanted to become a medical doctor at the time. So I was already in university back home. I was already doing my, basics and stuff. So I come to America to become a doctor. So I came here, migrated here to become a doctor. And I started taking my classes and going to school. But somewhere along the line, I just lost interest in medicine. And I felt like my calling was to do ministry and also to entrepreneurship. And so from there, I shifted from that to becoming, being the ministry, also to entrepreneurship. So from $100, I stayed with, a family member for 6 months. Things didn't go too well with us. I was kicked out of the house, and down here I became homeless. I slept in my car. I was struggling and stuff. From there, I was able to get my first apartment, and they just kept, taking it one at a time. But I saw that I worked all kind of different jobs. I also drove for Uber one time too.
Wow.
But then for about a year, I drove for Uber. And then I saw that, a job wasn't the answer, but entrepreneurship was the answer for me. For me to be able to live the life I want to live, to be generous like I want to be, and to have the freedom of time, that entrepreneurship was going to be that. So I started with creating websites for people. That was in 2004. So from websites, I started doing photography, videography, have a studio, so I just kind of walking through that until around 2009. So 2009 was when I started thinking about to start a university, which was when my big break started financially, that now led us to Vonza. So the school started because my wife finished a master's degree from one of these fancy schools in America. And he set us back about $54,000 in debt. I was like, man, that was a lot of debt. But she couldn't find a good job and she really didn't want to work. So she didn't want to work. We didn't get a good job and we're still owing that debt, you know. So I said, this is crazy. There got to be a better way, faster, easier, cheaper way for people like her that really want to get a degree, not to go get a job, but just to get a degree for whatever reason, to get a degree to their name that's accredited without going through all these 4 or 5 years in school. And, you know, Danny, people go to school for 4 or 5 years. When they come out, like, they don't even remember 90% of what they were taught in school. Because many of the things they are taught in traditional schools are not relevant to what they want to do in their future, right? So that's a short story of how Higher Place Christian University started. We formally launched in 2010, and now we're in 2022. So that's about 12 years in now. And then since 2010, we've graduated over 7,000 students that have come to our school and our courses and continuing education and stuff. And our focus is just more ministry, entrepreneurship, and leadership. These are the 3 focus of our school curriculum. Then from there, you know, I saw too that there was a need because I got into tech when I started creating my courses and training programs online. I saw too that I was using multiple tools to run my business online. I was using one for my website, one for my my email marketing, one for my Zoom, my calendar, one for my payments. I was over 10 plus tools. I felt that was crazy. There got to be a better way. Now I've become an entrepreneur, and an entrepreneur is somebody who sees solution to problems that they have or that others have. So I had a personal problem, which was being overwhelmed by using so many of these different tools to run my business online. So I thought they got to be an easy to use all-in-one platform. One night, it came to that place. My breaking point was one night I was trying to create a course launch, and I was using WordPress and this and that and the other, and my plugins just did not talk to each other. So I was so embarrassed launching my program, and the people were like, oh, we couldn't buy your course because your link was not working and all of this other stuff, you know. And then I was on my laptop, I was exhausted trying to fix it to relaunch it the next day, and then I fell asleep. And in the sleep, I had a dream. In the dream, I saw my laptop open, and I saw all the tools I needed in one place. I saw my website, my courses, my membership, my scheduling in one place. And I was like, when I woke up, oh my God, that's a dream. I'm like, okay, how come there's not an all-in-one platform that helps me to run my entire business in one place without using all these different tools or needing a team? And there was none that had the tools that I needed to run my business online. And that's how Vonza came about. So Vonza is the first Black-owned and tech company in America that have gone from 0 to 5,000 customers and $25 million in valuation in under 2 years. That's how fast we've grown, and partly because we are solving a pain that many people have. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, if you are seasoned, you probably have a team, but even if you have a team, it's still cumbersome for your team to have all these different things they have to log into to help you run your business. But with Vonza replaces the need for 10 plus tools, and it puts everything in one place. So that's how we came from $100 to be homeless, to driving Uber, to working $6 an hour job, to sleeping on a friend's couch, to starting a website design company, then from there to photography, to video, to starting a university, and now the university and coaching that I do will help to fund Vonza. So we've I mean, it's just so amazing, man. I mean, I could go on, but just sort of kind of share that foundation.
I had to really keep quiet for a minute, because what you're saying here, I just get it. I really get it, because I was on the same struggle. I come from the same struggle. There is no jokes about it. Same process, in terms of the pains, the structure. Once upon a time, I literally gave up that, maybe entrepreneurship wasn't for me, and I just go and get a 9-to-5 job. That was the very first time I got my first job ever after living in England for over 12 years. where I became an Uber driver. And just listen to you kind of express, the journey a little bit there, because we can go on and on this subject. And now building a business in America in valuation of $25 million in 10 years shows that 2 years, oh my days, 2 years and $25 million. That is equivalent of about 20 million pounds.
Yeah.
Equivalent of 20 million pounds in the UK.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So it just shows that it's not where you started from, it's where you're going to. And there's something I always say in life, right? Fall 7 times, rise the 8th time, and keep rising, never falling. So no matter how many times you fall, just keep rising, because if you keep rising, we're going to get there. You're going to get there no matter what that is. And you're a true massive inspiration. You came from all the way from Edo State, Nigeria, with $100 with just a little bit of some clothes in your suitcase, and now building a $25 million business in the United States of America. It just shows what persistence, consistency, and never quitting and giving up can do. So in just basically on, coming back to you very quickly, how long have you been living in the, or what time or what year did you actually, immigrated from Nigeria to the US?
Yeah, so October is going to be 20 years. So I came in 2002. So it's going to be
years.
2002. Yeah, so time goes very fast, so October is going to be 20 years. So I'm almost 20 years now in America.
Wow, that's amazing. And you've built America of your own dream.
Yeah, definitely. God have been so good to us, bro. I was able to, get my dream house last year. We call it the White House. It's a White House.
You live in a mansion.
Yeah, it's a 7-bedroom home, 7-bedroom home, about 6 baths, across 3 levels. In a very prestigious neighborhood. Just God's been good to us, and also to a testament of the American dream, which is pretty much work hard, dream big, and you can achieve anything that you desire. And that's what we've done. And coming from Edo State too, I think that work ethic was already in me, but but the infrastructure was not really there for a lot of young dreamers to be able to dream and make things happen. So having that hustle, that hunger in me, that drive, that's, my mindset was already changed before I came. I got to say this, Daniel, to the audience, one of the foundation of success is mindset, right? Nobody can achieve beyond their mindset. My mindset was already changing before I came. I read over 1,000 books before I came to America. So my mindset was already, into success thinking and possibility thinking and dreaming big. And so it was just me coming here, and I struggled for a while. At least the first 12 years was up and down, struggling, trying to find my footing. And then it was when we started university and led me to online business, online courses, online training. That's where I kind of found my superpower to say, okay, all right, so it's online. Because I've had a restaurant, I've had a print shop, I've had physical type businesses, but online was just my superpower. And I'm just so grateful to God.
Wow. So great to know where your journey started from. One of the things what we always touch base with on this podcast is that, you don't just build wealth tomorrow. You build wealth based on the transformation of your mindset. You build wealth on the, transformation of your personal development. For me, I'm a big believer of personal development, because personal development changed my life. Personal development helped me see things that I never saw. Because imagine this for a minute, right? I first came to this country in 2004. And until 2016, I never heard the word mentorship. Never heard. I went to school. I went to University of Benin. I studied sociology. I never heard about the word mentorship.
Wow.
I never heard about the word personal development. And just by listening, and following my passion through personal development and mentorship, I built a business, in the region of 7 figures now in pounds, and we're still growing. And it just goes to show you that it's all about the mindset. It's all about you growing to think bigger, not big, but even bigger. and even more, not holding yourself bound. I think a lot of individuals do hold themselves bound and dream too small and not taking actions. So let's quickly come back to the subject. Now, you mentioned, you now have these businesses, you own a university. I really want to touch base on that because I don't think it's very easy. I've never looked into it in the UK about owning your own university. How did you basically set up a university?
Yeah.
A black man,
Yeah.
where I'm sure you would have also had issues, which I had in the past.
Yeah.
English wasn't our first language. We had all these limiting beliefs. We had all these barriers of how we speak, how we
Yeah.
receive information, how we deliver
Yeah.
information, a lot of contradiction going on. How did you manage to break through and to own your own university? So tell us a little bit more about your High Place University in America, having over 7,000 clients.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. So I think what you said is really powerful, so I have to work on my mindset a lot, because I was telling myself the same story, being in America, being Black, there's still some racism, there's still some, tribalism and stuff. And so I had to work on my mindset, I had to work on my confidence, because I used to feel like my accent was a weakness, was a liability. So I have to now start seeing as an asset. Of course, I try to pronounce words better, so it's easier for people to understand me. But when I started working on my mindset and having that confidence in my ability, then that's when things really started shifting for me. So now, the reason why we're able to start University in America, one of the biggest reasons is because of the great laws of America. Now, in Nigeria, what we did in America, we can't do it in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, the government literally controls registration of universities. The government licenses universities in Nigeria and some other countries. I don't know if it's the same in the UK. But in the US, the US government does not license universities. So that was a big, I don't want to call it a loophole, but that was a big, that was the foundation of that. So now the US does not license universities. The US does not accredit universities. University in America, they are accredited by private institutions. Okay. And now what the government does is that the government recognizes some of the accrediting bodies because they can attest to the quality of standard of work for that for that school. So that was the biggest reason why we're able to start it, right? So we didn't have to get we don't have to get a governmental approval oversight because the government does not approve or disapprove of any school except they're doing something fraudulent like diploma mills, offering fake degrees or stuff like that, right? So the United States government recognizes accrediting bodies who gives oversight and accreditation to institutions. So that was a big one. Then two, another thing that also helped us too was I already came from the creating online courses and training program. So we're able to partner with some professors and some other institutions, and they're able to help us develop the curriculum and all of the classes and all of that stuff. Then I was already in tech, so we built the technology. We got the accreditation we needed. We had the professors that help us with the curriculums and stuff. So that's how we started in 2010. And over time, we just kind of got better and better at doing it, And our school and our university solves a big pain problem for students. That's one of the reasons why we become very successful. Some of the pain problem it solves for the student is this: it's fast, is affordable, and is flexible, right? If you go to traditional university in America, to get a bachelor's degree is going to take you about 3 to 4 years. But if you come to our school to get a similar type of degree, you can get it in under 2 years, right? Because we cut down the amount of time you need to take to be in school. So many of those things are benefits that just made it so much easier for people to just want our school, because people like you, smart men, you've built very successful businesses, So imagine going to sit in a class for 3 years for them to teach you business in PhD, you've already proven that, right? So if you go to traditional school, they don't care about what you've achieved in your life. This is going to make you take every single class, even classes that you don't need, you don't care about. But when you come to our type of school, we don't make you take those classes. You're already successful as a businessman. We want to take the essential classes you need to help you to increase your knowledge. And that cuts out the amount of time you need to spend in school. So help you to finish faster and more affordably. So that's some of the selling points that really made our school to really resonate with many of our students.
Wow. It's so great to see, how you've literally narrated, the benefits of being, a VC, a vice chancellor of a university, and also just kind of breaking down, how the setup process worked, regardless of, the ups and downs. You immigrated from Nigeria, being able to probably, work on your tonality as at that time, and you still broke through. So it's not who you are. It's the vision that drives you. It's not what you think against whatever, challenges that you face before you. It is the drive and the consistency, knowing what you want and going for that purpose. Correct? And that's what got you where you are. Fantastic. So let's quickly now go into, the mindset of wealth creation. Let's kind of talk about, how just an honorary Dr. Uyi, Abraham, made that move to creating a business, in valuation of about $25 million, because a lot of people could have actually got to like maybe $100,000 and really not stretch themselves and settled for less and say, after all, I'm an immigrant from Nigeria. I've got $100. I came from $100 background. Why do I need $100,000 business? Or why do I even need $1 million business and settle? So how did you make that transition, get into technology and doing all these other different types of jobs and actually going all the way into creating a business in valuation of $25 million?
Yeah, that's a very good question, So like I said earlier, personal development was very big for me. So, I started investing in coaching. I started investing in mentorship. I started investing in people to help me with my mindset, my confidence. And when I started getting those things, then it was just natural for me to just think big. Like Moses, I don't know how to think small, right? I don't know how to dream small. I don't have any small dreams. Some people be like, oh, they got some small dreams, some big. I don't have a small dream. I don't know how to do that. Even if I try to, it's hard. I just think big. I try to be the best and go for the best, There are three things I wanted to do with my life that were outstanding. Since I dropped out of medical school, I wasn't going to be a doctor anymore. Now, I'm a doctor now, but not a medical doctor, I want to do big things with my life and solve big problems and help a lot of people in the process. Three ways I can do that is going to be through the university. That's why I started university, and the second one is a tech company. Goes to help 1 million entrepreneurs worldwide to start and run their business online. Then the third thing I'm working on now is a bank. Right? Because the traditional bank is greedy, it's selfish, it's hard to give people like me that look like me, my skin color alone. So I want to solve that problem by making it easier for Black and brown entrepreneurs to get some startup capital to run their business online. So that's the next third thing I want to do. Those are the three big problems I want to solve with my life. Then the fourth one is philanthropy, right? I want to really help people, poor people a lot. So all of this tied to that's a mindset, that training. And let me say to somebody listening right now, it doesn't matter where you start from, right? It doesn't matter if you're poor, broke, or whatever the situation is. If you invest in coaching and mentorship, right, and you apply what you are learning, it's going to work for you. Like if you're trying to get into property and stuff, don't try to learn on your own. Talk to Dr. Daniel Moses and invest in his coaching and mentorship and let him help you and show you, because you're going to learn faster than trying to learn everything on your own, right? A lot of people, they fail because they are cheap-minded. They don't want to invest in coaching, mentorship, or a mentor, role model to help them to scale online. That's not what I did. One of my mentors is a founder of Calendly. He's a Yoruba guy. He's now worth it's now worth $1.5 billion. He's the newest tech billionaire. He's the founder of Calendly tech software, right?
Yeah, Calendly, yeah.
Calendly, yeah, top top is one of my coaches and mentors, you know. So if I want to be a billionaire, I got to have a billionaire to coach me, right? So God gave me favor. It's also one of our investors at Vonza too. So now I have a billionaire because there's a way billionaires think. Billionaires think differently than millionaires think. So to be a millionaire, I had to get a coach that was a millionaire. To be a billionaire, I have to get a coach that is a billionaire, right? Because there's a way they think, there's a way they handle stuff, there's a way they strategize, they have discipline is different from, you know, you get what I'm saying? So the same thing for anybody. If anybody just follow these processes, they can do anything with their life.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. You actually went so deep into that, you know, into that session right there. It's so inspirational just to hear you speak and just kind of, you know, I'm so fired up because, you know, it just shows that when you know where you're going to, and I think it's very important to also dip into your purpose, because your purpose is what's kept you. You knew your purpose, and thinking small wasn't part of it. Your purpose was to dig deeper to become a solution provider. And even though you wanted to become a medical doctor, you ended up not being a medical doctor, but you are a professor now in Christian leadership, you know, and you are a university chancellor and you're a founder of a tech company. So let's talk about the tech side of the business, because I know, you know, I've seen you, you know, you've given so many people, you know, a platform, you know, to lead. And also I can see what you're also doing with Vonza. So for those who don't really know, you know, about this whole tech platform called the Vonza, where you have obviously labored, for example, anyone can build a business now where there's all integrations needed. So from your payments to your appointments to, you know, launching your course. So is this a platform that any business can use, or is a selected industry? How does that work?
Thank you. So any business can use Vonza, right? Anybody, could be a business, a company, a small person, a big person, a mom and pop shop, like we call it in America, or a creator, right? Or a coach. It doesn't matter. If you have anything you can offer and sell online, Vonza powers you and enables you to offer to do that more effectively, right? So Vonza just make it easy for people to do what they love and get paid. Like, what do you love? You like to teach. You can create courses or memberships, right? You like to coach. Do you sell physical products, digital product, right? You need a website for your business. You need appointments. So Vonza just have at least 10 plus integrations in one. So just take the tech hassle out of the work you need to do. Let's face it, most people, especially when they're just starting out, they just want to sell or create or do what they love. They don't want to deal with technology issues. They don't want to deal with integrations, right? You know, but in the past, they were forced to because there was not a really good or simple to use all-in-one platform. So Vonza just that one-stop shop, so that all you got to do just to do what you love, which is your business, and let Vonza technology just powers it. So we have customers now in at least 40 countries, from companies to small businesses to universities to coaching programs to coaches to all kind of people use Vonza. And that's what we want Vonza to be, so that anybody don't have to say anymore, man, I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how technology works. I don't know how to connect my payment gateway to my bank. You don't have to do that. Vonza does it all for you.
And this can be used in any part of the country. Like those in the UK can use Vonza to run their business.
Yeah. We have customers in the UK, Canada, in a lot of countries. The only issue is that some countries, we still having problem with sending payments to their bank account, their local bank account. So it's part of our plan for this year, whereby we're going to improve on our multi-currency. Like for example, I'm in Nigeria. I'm from Nigeria, right? And we have a lot of creators and business people in Nigeria that use Vonza, but they have to collect payments in Naira, because, you know, they can't offer dollars to their clients. It will be too expensive, but their clients cannot pay in dollars. So any country that dollar is taken and we can send money to their bank account, we can, but we can't do that in Nigeria right now. So we're going to build a new payment processor that can allow people to take payments in their local currency. Like in the UK, you have to take payments in dollars if you're going to use our payment processor. But some people, they'll create their courses and do calendar on our platform, but then they might take payments outside of Vonza if dollars is not supported in their country right now. So that's the only difference. But anybody anywhere can use Vonza. Just the payment part. If your country does not, does not support dollars, then that part is coming soon, whereby you be able to take payments in your local currency instead of taking payments in dollars.
Fantastic so much, Dr. Uyi, for just kind of clarify what all your businesses does. Now, very quickly, as we gradually move towards the end of this podcast, so let's talk about wealth, right? Let's talk about wealth. I am a wealth creator, a wealth strategist, especially using a vehicle called property. So from what we're talking about here, you are a wealth creator as well through sharing, on your platforms like Vonza, educating people coming to getting themselves educated in your university.
Yeah.
Now, for the ordinary man thinking, how is those two individuals, sharing immigrants, sharing their stories about being an immigrant, having no money, to you building about 20 million pounds equivalent business, in the US, in the UK. So that's the equivalent, $25 million equivalent of 20 million pounds. And at the moment, my portfolio is just in the region of about 7 million. And I've built that over the course of the last 2 years. Now, how does these two individuals, where, for example, when I came into the UK, right, I did not have papers, no resident permit. So I had to run all the time when I see the police van coming by, and I had to hide because I don't want to be deported. And I'm sure you did the same as well. How, do ordinary people who are just like us many years ago, aspiring to, build £100,000 business, obviously then build £1 million business, and then obviously making those other steps. What do you think is the key things they need to know, they need to learn, they need to action upon?
Yeah, so, it's still the same thing. Mindset is going to be the first thing. Number two is going to be mentorship, right? In the mentor. Then number three, just to take action. One of the things that is holding people back, Dr. Daniel, is that people don't take action, right? You are very good at what you do. You built about $7 million portfolio, right, in your business, right? You can tell somebody, you can do the same thing too. Right? But if they don't believe you, because they don't believe in themselves and they don't take the action, no matter how good your program is or your mentorship is, they're not going to get the results. So I want to really drive home the importance of taking action. When I saw that there's an opening for people to get university degrees faster, cheaper, and more flexible, I took action and I started the solution. When I saw that entrepreneurs and creators were just bogged down with so many different tools and wasting time and money, I took the action and I started Vonza. When I see that people like me were being rejected by banks from getting loans because of our skin color, I'm taking the action. I'm starting a bank, right? Everything in life, success, the difference between successful people and failures, or people who fail in life, many times is because they just don't take the action. They don't take the next step, right? So if somebody's listening right now, don't try to go to 7-figure on your first day. Maybe start by hitting the 5-figure goal, right? Then maybe that's like 10,000 pounds or $10,000. Then came for 6 figures, 100,000 pounds, $100,000, right? Then after that, then go for 7 figures. Because if you try like run and just try to hit all at one time, you're going to get discouraged and overwhelmed. But anybody can start today. So whoever is listening right now, what is that one step of action you need to take today? Maybe that action is to work on your mindset, work on your accent, get some new disciplines in place, or launch your business, register your business with your county or your city, build a website on Vonza. Whatever your action is, you need to take that action. When you take the action, you are already on your way to success and creating wealth.
Wow, fantastic. So mindset, action, and obviously developing yourself are key three things
Mentorship
that
too, yeah.
mentorship, sorry. So, these are the key three things that anyone can actually use to, to transform in their life. So, all well and good, you can be mentored, but if you're not taking action, it's not going to happen. If your mindset is not yet transformed, no matter the information that you're given, it's not going to work. So these are the core things that actually help you transform from the guy who basically, came to the United States of America with $100 to the guy now, in control of a business in the region of about $20 million. That's some crazy numbers. Wow. Yeah. My man, thank you so much for those tips. It's so powerful because let's face it, anyone has got it. Anyone can do it. And this is why recently I studied a lot of successful people. And one of the guys who's blowing my mind every single day right now is Elon Musk. Give him one thing, he's done it, he go to the next one, the next one, and the next one. It's never stopping. It's always building momentum. And people might say, oh, you know what, there's something he said. He said, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it to make the world a better place. So me sending rockets, to Mars, I'm not doing it because I want to be paid. I'm doing it so that I can improve a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Me trying to build the fastest tube station, the fastest tube line in the world right now, where you can get from one place to the other within minutes, or even like literally within less than minutes for example, from New York to New Jersey, is basically me providing a solution. So it just goes to show that a mindset has to be expanded to see tomorrow, to see the future. And I think a lot of people do have this situation where people are thinking too small. Honestly, what has changed my mindset, what has changed my life recently has been the fact that I'm not trying to make so much money today, but I'm trying to make so much money in future. Number two is I'm not trying to make so much money in future, but I'm trying to create a process where people enjoys it and automatically I get paid. Everybody gets to win. A solution that, anyone can get into the property industry, all right, and they can build massive wealth. And then there is that, freedom to do what they like, what they choose to do by having passive income of someone paying rent month in and month out. So it just goes to show that in the end, the first instinct will always be, okay, I want to get paid. But really and truly, a true entrepreneur, once you get paid after a while, it's no longer about the payments or the money coming through. It's about the solution of the lifestyle you're helping other people to achieve. And just bouncing off those, confirmation from what you and I have spoken, and I can see that passion, you creating that in Vonza, the passion of the High Place University, and the list can go on and on. So just in closing, this episode on this podcast, Dr. Uyi, what would be the key three things right now, all right, if you were to do in your younger age, that's number one, or when you first came as an immigrant from Nigeria, what would be those key three things that you thought you would have done that you never done, but you done them later, that would have transformed your life a bit quicker?
Wow, very good question. So I think number one, I would have, because I was very scared to go into business, right? So number one, I would have been less afraid to get into business, right? I should have started my business sooner. Number two, I should have gotten mentorship sooner. Then number three, if I look back, third thing I would have done differently, I would have surrounded myself with like-minded people sooner. Because when you're trying to start a business and you surround yourself with people who are into jobs, that's what they talk about. It just messes you up. Relationships are very important. If you want to be wealthy, surround yourself with wealthy friends, wealthy people. So I should have surrounded myself sooner with peers that were doing bigger things than me.
You know what? Funny enough, you say that, right? For me, I think I'm going to come back to a question, something you just said there. You would have surrounded yourself sooner. What I'm going to say in closing that statement is actually that, a lot of successful people buy themselves a seat on the table, whether we like it or not. They buy themselves a seat on the table. Wealthy people don't buy the cheapest ticket in an event. They buy the most expensive ticket so that they can meet and greet the people that needs to be greeted. So for me, I think if I was to ask myself the three things that I wish I never knew that I knew now was number one, right? Number one, when I first came into this country and did all sort of different types of, businesses, I did start my business quite quickly when I first came into this country. But the very first biggest mistake that I made was every single penny that I made, I repatriated that money back to Nigeria. So I lived like a real pauper. I lived like a real, literally lived from I lived from hand to mouth in England. But every time I went back to Nigeria, I lived like a king. This is one of the biggest problems with Black immigrants in this, whether it's America, whether it's the US, thinking that I was going to always go back home. So every single time, you see, I run a business where I rent out rooms and I have different types of clients. Some people just, they live so poor, and repatriate all the money back home. For 20 years, for 30 years, they live below, they live so terribly in this country where I am in the UK, and they're so wealthy in Africa and not starting any business here, right? That was one of the things I wish I knew. So I wish I knew, I would have saved a lot of money here in the UK and I would have bought so many properties 18, 19 years ago. Two, one thing that I think I knew, if I knew it now, was when I first came into this country, the only thing that we knew was go to university, get a degree, then you're going to get a good job.
Yeah.
I wish I knew, all right, that wasn't the case, that I needed to invest in mentorship, in personal development. That would have actually transformed my life as well. Because the thing is, a lot of Black people, a lot of immigrants, especially Nigerians, they all come into these countries, whether it's America, whether it's Canada, they just go and get a good job and after going to great universities. And they just basically settle for that for so long. They don't invest their money here and they repatriate those funds back home.
Yeah.
All right. And actually never build asset base.
Yeah.
Whereas if you build a business and you become so successful in this country, you can actually be passing a strong legacy to your children, whereby even if you die tomorrow, your uncles and aunties are not going to come to fight them, and claim those wealth that you've built way back home, because that's what normally happens. The houses that we're building back home, guess what? The uncles and the aunties are going to wait for you to die so they can claim those properties. Right. And there's no life insurance. Even the will sometimes can be altered. That's what we normally hear back home. And thirdly, and lastly, it is high time people of multinational cultures, especially Black, to start investing in their personal development. Yeah. And that is something that I never knew. Because when I saw personal development, and everyone that I spoke to when I started developing myself way back from 2016 said to me, Daniel, you're being scammed. It doesn't work. Why do you need to pay someone to teach you how to buy a house? Is it not just buying a house? But everybody could buy a house, but not everybody could buy a house that retires them and pays them a wage month in, month out. So just corroborating those both, what you would have done, way back, and what I would have done, and what we thought we knew, and we wish we knew better now, would be, those kind of information. So, I mean, Uyi, it's been an amazing time having you on the Wealth and Business podcast. So just before we wrap up this session, if anyone needs to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so thank you. So I'm on all social media pretty much. I'm Uyi Abraham. My first name is spelled U-Y-I. So Uyi Abraham, you're going to find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, all there. And also too, guys, go to Vonza.com, and in the About Us page on Vonza.com, you're going to read more about my profile and also, where to find me as well.
Fantastic, Dr. E. If there is one word you want to leave, just one word you want to leave for two people, the one who is already doing so big and wants to do bigger, all right? And the one who is basically watching this and say, are they actually speaking facts or they're speaking metrics? What would those words be?
I would say keep improving and never give up.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Keep improving and never give up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. So guys, you've heard it from my brother, my friend, Dr. Uyi Abraham, the Chancellor of the Chancellor of High Place University, and also the founder of Vonza.com, a big tech, massive company based in the United States of America, and also a social influencer, a motivational speaker. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you on the Wealth and Business podcast. And just to remind you guys, we have our Wealth and Business Summit coming up in November this year. We are still finalizing, the venue for the event, and also this is going to be streamed online. We're still finalizing, but don't forget to look at on all our social media handles. We will be making the official announcement in a couple of months' time, so you guys can start getting your tickets. And also, don't forget, we have the Wealth and Business Awards coming up in November, where we're going to be recognizing, people who are doing amazing things within the wealth creation industry. The wealth creation industry is not just property; it's tech companies. It's businesses striving, thriving, and winning. So yeah, we can't wait to kind of bring you this event where you can get a lot of light bulb moments to go and win big. So thank you so much, Dr. Uyi, for being on this episode, and thank you so much to our listeners. We want to say thank you for all the support that we're getting, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care.